Good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you. We call this Weather Chat Live. This is something new and different we're going to start doing from time to time. And we certainly will do it when there is significant weather that may affect primarily East Alabama and West Georgia, but anywhere across the Southeast. And we invite you to watch your Facebook feeds for notification when we decide to do these Weather Chat Live segments. At the top of the chat stream there, you'll see a link if you would like to support our efforts and what we are doing. We invite you to do so by going to paypal.me/Dr. Don WX. And if you or someone you know owns a business and would like to support us, then we invite you to send me a message and I'll tell you how you can get started. We thank our fine supporters, Joey Knight with Anchor Roofing. Also, Mr. Neil Johnson with Superior Heating and Air. Mr. Mike Fisher, re-elect Mike Fisher for mayor of the city of Roanoke. And what we're going to do is we're kind of got to go through our normal primetime weather forecast. And I'm going to kind of give you the forecast, what we think is going to happen over the next couple of days. And then we're going to spend a lot of time talking about tropical storm that's out there in the Atlantic. Now, we're expecting it to go back to hurricane status by tomorrow morning. Isaias. This thing is hard to say. But we're going to be talking about that, and then we're going to be looking at the chat board. And if you have any comments that you'd like to make, then we welcome you to do so. Deborah Brown's already watching us. Junior Davidson's got us going on. Letitia Barber's got us turned up right there and out there on Cody Road in Roanoke, Alabama. And we appreciate you folks. All right, so let's talk about our situation down in the tropics. We had a hurricane, and now it has dropped back to tropical storm status, but we expect things to ramp back up by tomorrow morning. We expect probably by the 11 o'clock update tonight from the National Hurricane Center, we will go back to hurricane status and probably remain so until sometime on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. Then we'll drop back to tropical storm status. It really depends on what happens here. If the storm just hugs the coast of Florida and stays out over water, then we may stay at hurricane status all the way. If we go to making interaction with land, which is very possible, then we could go back to tropical storm status. It just depends on how much land interaction we have with this storm over the next 24 to 48 hours. But it's really not going to be that much of a deal for East Alabama or West Georgia, other than it's going to be windy. It was windy this afternoon, and it'll be windy again on Sunday. But as far as rain or tropical conditions or hurricane conditions, none of that for East Alabama or West Georgia. So here's the Storm Prediction Center convective outlook for your Sunday, and we're just right now expecting general scattered afternoon thunderstorms, nothing of any great significance. Here's the national map showing our tropical system down there in the Atlantic, riding right along the eastern coast of Florida, in southeast Georgia, then up into the Carolinas, maybe making landfall again somewhere around Charleston or Myrtle Beach, and then maybe going inland across North Carolina, and then coming back out somewhere off the coast of Virginia. We'll talk a whole lot more about that in just a few moments. Miss Judy Albright at Shepherd's Fine Jewelry and Gifts in downtown Roanoke is a supporter of Dr. Don's weather page, as well as Southern Union State Community College, Wadley, Opelika, and Valley. Cody Yarborough, we call him Mr. Clean. Southeast Soft Wash, 334-863-0084. Micah Farr, elect Micah Farr for mayor, city of Roanoke. Here's your Goes East Southern Mississippi Valley satellite shot as the sun starts to fade away. You'll see a few scattered showers there across West Alabama, a few clouds there. The clouds are just really fading away quickly. A few scattered high-level cirrus clouds across North Georgia and back into central Alabama. The storms today have been up there in North Carolina and South Carolina, and that's totally unrelated to what's to come. So they've got a lot of rain on the way up there. Total rainfall amounts for East Alabama and West Georgia as of 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. We just see some scattered showers there across northern Randolph back over into Clay. Some heavier showers back over in Talladega just north of Sylacauga. And then up there around Anniston, we saw up to around 1 inch of rain, but nothing like that across East Alabama or West Georgia. Now, the next 5 days, you see the track of our tropical system, no question there. Some locations right there along the coast, maybe around Dade County, Miami, could be looking at around 6 to 7 inches of rain just offshore. If the track verifies, we could be looking at up to 15 inches of rain, but that'll be out over the open waters. Along the Florida East Coast, we're typically looking at 4 to 7 inches of rain. And then the Georgia East Coast, between 3 and 5 inches of rain. But look what happens up here in North Carolina and down into South Carolina. We could be looking at some significant rains up there in the 5, 6, 7 inch range. All depends on forward motion, how far inland this goes. We could look at some showers coming back off of this system up in northeast Georgia, where we could see an inch or so. It just depends on the interaction with the Appalachian chain across the northeast part of the state of Georgia as to how much rain we get. It will be warm and muggy again on Sunday. We'll go to 89 in Roanoke, Wadley. Wedowee goes to 88, Woodland 87. We'll hit 90 in LaGrange. Auburn goes to 92. Birmingham tops out at 89. And the hot spot, as it is most of the time, Tallahassee, 94 on Sunday afternoon. So let's take a look at your Southern Union State Community College live Doppler weather radar. And this is valid. It's live as we talk. And I'm going to stop it right there. We got some showers over in Georgia, just south of Thomaston. We have one big thunderstorm up there on I-20 back in Alabama, just to the east of Tuscaloosa, out there near the Mercedes-Benz plant. And that's going to continue to move on off toward Alabaster. So folks up there in Birmingham and the southern metro portions of Birmingham will see that shower. We've had a few showers that roamed across North Randolph earlier this afternoon. Light stuff down here along I-85 in the southern parts of Tallapoosa County. And then over into western Lee County, just some light sprinkles going on there as well. Nothing of any great significance. We do see a few thunderstorms that are kind of running off by themselves down here in southwest Alabama. We'll keep an eye on that, but we expect that stuff to kind of fade away as we go into the evening hours. We'll lose the heating of the day. So here's your Southern Union State Community College Futurecast radar, and this is valid at midnight tonight. And we do see a thunderstorm, if this model is correct, up in northwest Chambers County. Then by 1 a.m., we've got a thunderstorm right there between Roanoke and Rock Mills up Highway 87 up to about Big Springs, and a big thunderstorm back over just to the west of Alexander City. And then by 2 a.m., that storm just kind of moves up into extreme northern Coosa County, and the showers across Randolph kind of fade away as we get into the wee hours of the morning. And then looking out through most of Sunday, not seeing a whole lot of anything. Here we are at noon, maybe a few scattered showers in Clay County, maybe up there around Mount Cheahaw we see a thunderstorm, and then maybe some showers and thunderstorms as we approach the evening hours on Sunday, but no great significance here at all on Sunday afternoon. Brandon Brown of BR Construction is a proud supporter of Dr. Don's weather page, as well as Joey Knight, Auction 431 South down in Phoenix City. Jimmy Stevens of Jimmy Stevens Construction, remodeling and new homes. Our current conditions, temperature is 80 degrees under mostly fair skies across most of East Alabama and West Georgia. So here's the 6-day forecast from the Shepherd's Weather Center on Dr. Don's weather page. Weather Chat, episode number 1. For Sunday, a 30% chance of a shower or thunderstorm, 89 in the afternoon. We'll dip down to 69 on Sunday night with a 20% chance of rain. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You get the idea. We are back to a normal summertime afternoon weather pattern with isolated scattered thunderstorms, few and far between. Only about a 20% chance of rain all the way through the end of the week, and our temperatures will hang out in the upper 80s. We may get up into the low 90s toward Thursday and Friday. Here is that extended forecast. We are talking hot. There's no relief in sight all the way through the end of the extended period out there on the 13th. Hot temperatures, low 90s, maybe getting up into the mid 90s out there on Sunday, the 9th. Jamie Dukas, your Alpha Insurance agent, also a proud supporter of Dr. Don's weather page, as well as Rick and Becky Rainwater with RE/MAX Lakefront. Here's the mountain forecast. If you're going to be vacationing in the North Georgia mountains or the Tennessee mountains, pretty decent chance of rain on Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. Then on Monday, a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. That's going to be because North Georgia is going to be on the eastern fringes of the outflow from the northern left quadrant of this system. So we could see some showers and thunder showers as the outflow interacts with the Appalachians across North Georgia. That's the reason for that 60% chance of rain. Then on Tuesday all the way through Friday, we go back to a typical summertime afternoon pattern as well. And the beaches of Alabama and Florida, lots of questions right there because of this hurricane out in the Atlantic. Yeah, you're not going to see anything down there. Maybe some rip currents and some dangerous tides. Be very careful. Watch the flags on the beach. If that red flag is flying, then don't go in the water. Other than that, we're not looking at any type of tropical conditions along the Alabama or Florida Gulf Coast over the rest of the weekend or even into next week. Just a typical summertime pattern going on down at the beach. So there you go with your forecast. So let's go over to, let me do a little house cleaning here, and there, we'll take the internet cam. And so now let's talk a little bit more about our tropical system down in the Atlantic, battering the Bahamas as we speak. And it's going to continue moving off to the northeast as a tropical storm. We think going back to hurricane status probably by the 11 o'clock update tonight, or certainly by the 5 a.m. update tomorrow morning. And will probably maintain hurricane status for about 12 hours, maybe a little bit longer, and then back to tropical storm status by 2 a.m. Monday. It's just going to hug the Florida coast. A little wobble to the left, it could actually make landfall. A little wobble to the right, it could stay a little bit further off of the coast, and then it'll make that turn right there in the bend, right there along the Georgia coast, and then come right up toward Charleston, South Carolina, making landfall somewhere around Charleston, Myrtle Beach, and then continuing up through eastern North Carolina. And then maybe coming back out over open water up there around Virginia. So while we're not expecting a hurricane up here in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, we are expecting a lot of rain, a lot of inland flooding possible, because understand a hurricane rotates, or tropical storms and hurricanes rotate counterclockwise. So when this thing comes up the eastern coast, it's going to be pulling water in. Then when it passes, it'll be pulling water out. So as it makes its approach up here into South Carolina and North Carolina, it's just going to be pulling copious amounts of water inland. So all of these rivers up here, you got to be real careful, and you got to watch what's going on with the forecast. And if you live in an area that is flood prone, you need to have a plan to go somewhere else. There's no discussion of evacuations up here. This is, you guys up here have been through this multiple times, but if you live in areas that are flood prone, you got to have a plan to go somewhere else if that water starts rising. So a couple of other maps we're going to look at. This is the probability of tropical storm force winds of 39 miles per hour or greater This is the probability of seeing it in these areas. In other words, the green, dark green, and light green areas right there in Georgia, that means that there's only about a 10 to 20% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds of 39 miles per hour or higher in these areas. Now, as we go north, the storm should be weakening. But you folks over here in eastern North Carolina, you're in that 30% range, almost in that 40% range. And that is significant. So you're most likely going to see tropical storm force winds up here. And of course, that can certainly cause some problems with trees and power lines and power outages. And there could be some flooding up here too, especially out there around the Outer Banks, up around Morehead City, Atlantic City. All of those areas up there need to pay attention to this. Certainly not a hurricane, but it can certainly cause some problems. So be prepared for it. Here are the tracks, the latest tracks from the National Hurricane Center. The way this works, and they call this a spaghetti model because this is an ensemble of all of the computer tracks from a particular model type. And so this one's grouped really tight. And when you see the models grouped real tight like that, then that means confidence level's pretty high. That this is the track it's going to take. Very similar to the track that Hurricane Dorian took last year. That came so very close to making landfall in Georgia and Florida and South Carolina and just didn't quite make it. It was very close. So this is going to be pretty close to the same track. There is an outlier. You see that orange line there that brings it in almost into central Florida. And then back out right along the Georgia coast and then making landfall again just east of Hilton Head, South Carolina. But I think that's a little bit of an outlier right there. I like this grouping of all of these different models out here. I think that's probably where it's going to go. It's fighting some upper level or some mid-level winds right now, some shear. Conditions are very conducive for strengthening in the upper levels of the atmosphere and the lower levels of the atmosphere. But in the mid levels, we got wind coming out of the west, and it's kind of blowing those thunderstorm tops off a little bit. Here's the satellite loop, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. If you'll look over here on the left-hand side, see that little indention into the satellite loop here. That's your mid-level winds coming out of the west blowing into this storm. And this, understand again, tropical systems rotate counterclockwise. So if you look up here at the top, you'll see that the clouds are being blown off to the northeast, and that's because of this mid-level wind shear that's coming into the storm. But that's a mean-looking storm right there. It's very, very big. Tropical storm force winds extend out 170 miles from the center of the storm. Of course, all of the heaviest weather typically is to the north and east of the center of circulation of a tropical storm or hurricane, and that'll be the same with this case. Even though maybe it hugs the coast, maybe it makes a landfall down there. But still, the worst weather is going to be off to the right and very close to the center of the storm. Here's some more spaghetti models. This is a different ensemble. This dotted line that you see is the direction it's moving right now. If it did not turn at all, if it continued the heading that it's on right now, that's where it would go. It would come right across Apalachicola, right across southwest Alabama, and right through central Mississippi. But we know that's not going to happen. We have a trough coming down that's going to interact with it, and it's going to turn it back to the northeast. But there is a decent number of models that do bring it on shore down here in Florida. As a matter of fact, the official National Hurricane track brushes the east coast of Florida, and then it takes it back out into the Atlantic and then landfall again somewhere up there north of Charleston up into North Carolina. Be interesting to watch over the next 24 to 48 hours to see if it does exactly what they're pegging it to do. Here is the model intensity guidance, and really only one model is bringing it back to Hurricane 1 status, maybe two. And the Hurricane Center seems to be agreeing with that. They think we will come back to Hurricane 1 status again sometime late tonight or early tomorrow morning. But you see the majority of the models bring it close to Category 1. Several of them continue to ramp it and bring it down. And those are going to be the models that show it going on shore on the east coast of Florida. And if that happens, if it does go on shore, then these intensity guidance models will be correct. So we'll just have to see how that works out. All right, so here we go with a look at the entire Atlantic. And I'm afraid that this is not the only system that we have to deal with. We have another area of interest that we're going to have to be watching for development. And then we have 10 that's just come off of the African coast. So that's out there to deal with as too. So, I mean, we went forever. We started early and then we went into a lull, and now the tropics are really firing up big time out there. So having done all of that, I'm going to put the satellite loop back on, and then what I want to do is that's not what I want to do. Let's put that back on. And then, we're going to do something different. Let's do this. Let's go to our live radar shot. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take, let's leave the radar on, and then let's go over here to the tropics. Let's turn all that on. And let's take a ride down I-75 or 95, whichever one you want to go on. And let's zoom out and we can see what's going on. This is where the tropical storm is located right now. Now, what I want to point out to you is just how close we think this thing is going to come to the Florida coast. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit closer. All right, there's West Palm Beach. And that is, I drew the line right on top of West Palm Beach. Let's clear that out. Let's go up here. 13 miles, folks. We're talking 13 miles. Actually, less than that. Let me draw that one more time. Let's go right here. Yeah, about 10 miles from West Palm Beach is the expected path of the storm. You can see it right there. And it maintains that same distance all the way up. Let's see here. We get up here just south of Palm Bay. It starts to make its turn back out to sea maybe just a little bit. It's going to come awfully close to the Cape. Daytona. 27 miles is the expected track. And St. Augustine, a lot of folks vacation down there, 44 miles. We're talking about the center of the storm. Now, we'll have weather that'll certainly make it over here if it takes this exact track. And then for Georgia, let's go to Brunswick first. Get out there around Sapelo Island. 70 miles. I think Dorian was like, what, 60? I think Dorian made it to within 60 miles. And then Savannah. $58 miles. I mean, that's almost identical to what Dorian did. Charleston, we're talking 29. We go up here to Myrtle Beach, big vacation spot there as well. About 9 miles. And then if this model is correct, we're looking at landfall just north of Myrtle Beach. All right, so let's go up here into North Carolina. We're well inland now. We think the storm will pass to about 25 miles back to the west or northwest of Jacksonville, North Carolina. Let's go in a little bit closer. There's New Bern, 32 miles. And let's go to Havelock. We just might know someone who lives right here on the Neuse River. And we're looking at 49 miles. And the unfortunate thing for North Carolina, well, for everybody to the right of this line, that puts you on the worst side of the storm. Now, again, we expect this to be a tropical storm by the time it makes it up here into North Carolina. But still, with tropical storms, you can get flooding rains. You can get gusty winds that'll bring down trees and power lines. It's not a hurricane. It's not, but I'm still concerned. I mean, we're talking, 49 miles. And if tropical storm force winds extend out, right now they're at 170, but that'll certainly come down by the time it gets up to, not wind speed. We're talking about tropical storm force winds, which are 39 miles per hour, extend outward 170 miles from the center of the storm right now. And by the time it gets up into North Carolina, the storm probably will not be that large, but 50 miles, yeah, I think you will have tropical storm force winds 50 miles out from the center, way up here. Probably that will continue all the way up into Virginia. So certainly something to pay attention to up here, especially from Myrtle Beach to Virginia Beach. This area of North Carolina that sticks out into the ocean. We're talking Wilmington. We're talking Havelock. We're talking the Outer Banks, Belhaven, Morehead City, Kill Devil Hills, Elizabeth City, and even Virginia Beach. If the storm takes this exact track, all of those places I just mentioned is in danger of some flooding and some serious high winds. So be prepared. And here's what I tell folks. They ask me this all the time. What do you do? How do you get ready for something like this? Well, pretend you're going primitive camping for 3 to 5 days. Anything you might need, and when I say primitive, I'm talking you're going to the backwoods, low country, no water, no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no television, no Walmart right around the corner, no nothing for 3 to 5 days. Now, what would you need to take with you to sustain life for 3 to 5 days? That's what you need to be doing up here in North Carolina to prepare for this storm. We could certainly have some scattered power outages in South Carolina, scattered power outages down here in Georgia. Depending on how far inland it makes it down here in Florida, we could have some scattered power outages. But I think right now, the bullseye for power outages, I'm talking, power outages that'll last more than 24 hours, is going to be this area up here in North Carolina if this storm takes this track. Yeah, it's just 50 miles. So if the storm tracks 50 miles further out to sea, then you won't have that problem up here. But if it takes this track, you're going to have a problem. And if it goes 50 miles further inland, more of North Carolina will have a problem. So that's where we are, folks, with our tropical storm, which will probably become a hurricane again real soon. And I'm going to go back up to the chat room and see if anybody has any questions. Hey, Mike. Let's see. Ruth Earl's watching us this evening from Bud Cummins Road in the Roanoke. This is where we have fun. So if you have a comment, we can talk about anything. I've been known to talk about all kinds of stuff, so it has not got to be weather related. If you have comments, concerns, questions, talk COVID, we'll talk COVID. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. Well, look at there. Oh, John Boy down in Colquitt County. Is it hot down in that parking lot? Let me ask y'all a question. Let's see what kind of response we get. I got him squirming now. So we're in the middle of this pandemic. And you go sit in a parking lot at a civic center where it's 400 degrees to watch a pre-recorded Garth Brooks concert. What do y'all think about that? Mike's asking a question. Which frequency should I set my weather radio to? The one that you can receive the best. Mike, yeah, I mean, I think there's 5, maybe 6, different options, maybe 7. But you've got Cheehaw, you've got LaGrange, and then I think you've got one in Auburn. And so you shouldn't be able to receive, but maybe 2 or 3. And all 3 of those do the DTMF codes for Randolph County, or for all the counties. So that's the quick, simple, easy answer. Whichever one you can receive the best is the one you need to switch it to. I typically tell folks to put theirs on the Mount Cheehaw frequency, and you can go over to my website. Well, let's just go over there. Let's see here. I'll show it to you. Don't worry. I'm coming back to the Jonathan Jones thing. Let me find it here. NOAA Weather Radio. Well, let me put you over there too. Okay, let's see here. All right. All this information is on my website, drdonwx.com, and then go to the severe weather notification tab at the top of the page. NOAA frequencies for Alabama. I've got all the information for Alabama and for Georgia. So we go to the Alabama page, and if you're in Randolph County, then you want to pick the closest transmitter to Randolph County. And that's going to be Anniston, which is Mount Cheehaw, and the frequency is 162.475. Also, you should be able to, in some areas of East Alabama, you may be able to pick up Montgomery because it's out there on the eastern side of Montgomery. That's 162.400. Auburn is 162.525. And then LaGrange has also got a transmitter. So we'll go to the Georgia frequencies. There's LaGrange right there, 162.450. So I'm going to say, depending on where you are, if you're North Randolph County, Cheehaw, that's a no-brainer. If you're in central Randolph County, probably LaGrange, especially if you're over on the eastern side of Randolph. If you're in southern Randolph County, then Auburn would be your choice. All 3 of them simulcast the DTMF tones for severe weather information for all the counties of East Alabama. So you'll get it. Either way, you will get it. And then two, most of the radios nowadays, when you buy them, you can set them up to, they pretty much set themselves up. But if you want to manually program them, or if you have one of the older radios, you're going to have to program what's called FIPS codes. And I have those on the website too. For the Alabama FIPS codes, you just click on the Alabama map. And if you're in Randolph County, your FIPS code is 01111. And here's what I suggest. If you live, let's say for instance, you live in Roanoke, then I suggest that you set your radio up to receive warnings for Cleburne, Clay, Tallapoosa, Chambers, and yes, Troup County. We've seen it happen 2 or 3 times this year already. Storms come at you backwards. So I suggest you select your county and all the counties surrounding you. Now, if you want to be extra safe, you select your county and 2 tiers of counties around you. I suggest you do at least 1 county around you, but 2 is even better because then you get a heads up. And if I was in Randolph County, I might even go out 3 counties to the west and to the northwest and to the southwest. Maybe just 1 county to the south and east. But the direction that our weather comes from most of the time, I'm probably going to go out 3 counties. So if we get a tornado on the ground over here in Shelby County and it's moving due east, I've got at least 30 or 40 minutes, maybe even an hour before it gets over here to Randolph County. If I do just Clay County and I live in Wadley and a tornado touches down in Mellow Valley, guess what? It's on top of me before the radio goes off. So that's why you want to go out at least 1 tier, maybe 2 or 3 tiers to the west and southwest and northwest, because that's where our weather normally comes from. And typically Randolph County, your weather comes out of the southwest. So you definitely need Tallapoosa County, and I would probably put Elmore County in there too, because what forms down here around central Alabama, down here around Montgomery and Prattville and Wetumpka, generally comes right up into Tallapoosa County and right up into Randolph County. And the same theory applies for our viewers over in West Georgia. And there's the entire state of Georgia. There's Troup County right there. Your FIPS code's 13285. So it's right there. So, how about that? While we're over here, on the home page, you can see our latest primetime forecast. You can come down and see all of our videos, all of our productions. The interview I had with Robin Hall is still there. And this is very important right here, folks. On the home page, you will see every one of our supporters. And I invite you, and I ask you kindly, if one of our supporters offers something that you're in need of, then please give them a shot. That's pretty cool. You can see our live feed right there is also on our home page of our website. So you can see it right there. A little delayed, but there it is. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Please patronize the folks who support Dr. Don's weather page, because I'm telling you, without their support, we can't keep doing this, and it's just been fantastic. We only have like 1 or 2 slots open right now. So if you own a business and would like to support us, then send me a message. I'll tell you how you can do that. And if you go to the top of the chat board, you can see how easy it is to support us if you're an individual, or if you're a business and just want to support us, you can do that too. Just click on that paypal.me link and help us out any way you can. You know, we realized over a year ago now that this was just something that was needed. East Alabama's left out in the cold. And because of my years of being on radio in East Alabama and West Georgia, a lot of folks down there know me. So I have been able to bring you some good coverage, because our television folks are not going to do it. See, Jonathan, back to the Garth Brooks thing. Yeah, I'm going to be quiet now because the boss is in the room. Yeah, I just found that hilarious. So, yeah. This is kind of how we do it. I have other ideas. One of the ideas is that we're going to start doing some interviews. I've already talked to Chuck Markham. He's going to join us. We're probably going to do that one day next week. We're going to talk about what the Roanoke City school system looks like with COVID-19. ABC 3340 did a fantastic interview with Chuck last week, and I've talked to him since, and he has agreed to do the same with me. So we're going to get him on here, and we're going to do it by Zoom. And if you have questions, you can ask questions, and we'll talk to him. And I call him Coach Markham because that's how far back I go. And we'll see what football looks like too, and see what the plans are for that. So there's just, there's all kinds of things that we plan on doing here on Weather Chat Live. And the biggest thing is just hanging out with you guys and talking to you and answering your questions and showing you what's going on with the weather and keeping you updated. Take you back over to the latest on our tropical system. And we'll get an update at 11 p.m. this evening. And I really expect this to be back to hurricane status at 11 p.m. If not, then it'll probably happen on the 2 a.m. intermediate advisory, which will send my phone into oblivion at 2 a.m. So, yeah, that's probably what'll happen. But I think it's going back to hurricane status. I don't think there's any question about that. And folks, if you have something you'd like to see us cover here on Weather Chat Live, then all you got to do is send me a message. If there's somebody you'd like to see us interview, or if you would like to be on to talk about something, we can arrange that. I plan on getting all of my sponsors on here too. I know that Joey Knight would be a trip to have on. All of my sponsors would, every last one of them. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well, and let them talk to you and tell you about their products and what they have to offer. And that's the way this works. They support me, you support them, they support me. It never ends, and it helps everybody. It's a good thing for everybody all the way around. One thing I do want to show you while we're just sitting here chit-chatting tonight. This is a new element to our radar software that we use. We've always been able to show you where some of the roads were, but now look what happens. Let's say we've got a storm sitting over here just west of Wedowee. Look at there. When I scroll over a road, it gives you the name of the secondary streets. So we can really pinpoint where storms are. So let's say we've got a storm coming up on Wedowee. Not only can we pull the name of the road in there, but we can show you the distance of the storm as well. Pretty cool stuff. And I've said this several times before, but I challenge you, and I pick on Bacon Level, but I challenge you, that was too close, to find a television station anywhere that has Bacon Level, Alabama on their radar. There it is. We can go one better than that. Miss Mary, you knew I was going to have to pick on you before the night was over with. How about Frog Eye, Alabama? Straddling the line down there in Tallapoosa and Chambers. All Miss Mary's frogs. Bet you've never seen that on a radar before either. We got it. We got it covered, folks. Our primary coverage area is Cleburne, Clay, Talladega, Randolph, Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Harris, Troop, Hurd, and Carroll. Those are our primary coverage areas. However, as you well know, if we've got really bad weather taking place over here in West Alabama, Southwest Alabama, even North Alabama, if it looks like it's eventually going to affect our primary coverage area, we cover it. Even over here in Georgia. If we've got life-threatening weather going on, we're going to, if it's anywhere in Alabama or Georgia, we're going to cover it right here on Dr. Don's weather page. Always have and always will. Again, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns, now's a good time to put those in the comment down there at the bottom of the page. And we're going to be wrapping this thing up probably in just a few minutes, but would love to hear from you. If nothing else, tell me where you're watching from so we can give you an old shout out. Love to them shout outs. Good news on the football front. Looks like we are going to play football this year. Southeastern Conference going with a 10-game in-conference season. Should be interesting. We're still going to play an SEC championship. December 19th. Yeah, December 19th in Atlanta. Kind of sad that we don't get to play our big opening weekend games. Alabama and Auburn both. Georgia also. Losing those first games of the season to those non-conference foes. But if that's all we have to give up in this mess that we're living in right now, then that's okay. We need some football. I know folks up north are like, really? Seriously? But, oh, hey, Lisa. I was just commenting on how much I would have loved to have been with you guys when you went to see Garth Brooks in Columbus. I mean, I know that was a lot of fun. I'm just sad that my phone, Jonathan obviously didn't take your instructions and call me and invite us. Me and producer Tracy would have been right there. But I know you're thinking about us, so thank you, Lisa. Hey. Anne Marie watching us in Randolph County, specifically over there on the west bank of Wadley, Alabama. Yeah, spent a lot of time over there at that little football stadium in Wadley, Alabama. Calling some Bulldog football. Well, Donna McKay country. I got some family pretty close to Wadley still, too. Well, you're just quite welcome, Bree. Thank you for being here. That's another thing you guys can do for us. Share everything. When I put up notices that we're going to go live, share it with all your friends. Tell all your friends about Dr. Don's weather page. Ask them to go over there and like it. And that helps us out. And Catherine's asking the question, just got in. What's the storm status? Well, briefly, Catherine, right now we're back to tropical storm status, but we're going to come back to Hurricane 1, probably at the 11 o'clock advisory tonight. If not, the 2 a.m. intermediate advisory. And it looks like it's probably going to skirt the Florida East Coast from Miami up to just south of Jacksonville, and it's going back out into the Atlantic. and then we're looking at a secondary landfall. I mean, it's just going to be a huge close call down there in Florida. We may or may not have a landfall down there. If the track verifies, we will have a landfall just north of Myrtle Beach, and it'll go about 50 to 60 miles inland across eastern North Carolina, and then emerge back out into the Atlantic somewhere around Virginia Beach. Should not mean much for East Alabama or West Georgia, except for some breezy conditions from time to time. We saw some of that on Saturday afternoon. Beautiful day on Saturday, by the way. It was still a little humid, but not a bad day. And Sunday should be a carbon copy, maybe a tad bit warmer on Sunday than what we saw on Saturday. But this tropical system is not going to be an issue for East Alabama or West Georgia. Isaias. You know, and I said this the other day, we've got to do something about the names of these storms. How about some Willard Earl? Steve? How about Don? We'll take a Don. We just need to get in touch with whoever it is that makes these decisions with the National Hurricane Center. Because some of these names, wow. Kelly Wesson in the house. Good to see you, Kelly. We're going to take this to the top of the hour, and then we're going to bug out. But this is a new segment that we're doing here. It's called Weather Chat Live. And again, if you're just joining us, we're going to have different guests on from time to time and talk about different things. Chuck Markham's probably going to be my first one. We're going to do that one day next week. Going to talk about Roanoke City schools and their preparation for returning back to school in this crazy world that we live in now. And we'll talk to him and find out what the plans are. And I can already tell you they're fluid because this thing changes. But we can tell you what the plans are right now. We'll talk to him about that. Anybody else that you'd like to see us interview or talk to on here, then just shoot me a message and let me know, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Becky says she is late. Yes, Becky, I gave away $10,000 just about 5 minutes ago. I called your name first and you didn't answer, so I had to move on to the next one. So you just lost out on 10 grand. I'm just kidding. Well, Catherine, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Kelly, I'm going to do it at different times. It's not going to be a set time. The idea is to do these weather chats when we have some type of significant weather event going on. Tonight, we've got a tropical storm bearing down on South Florida. Hence the reason we're doing this tonight. But, you know, we may have something such as getting our kids back to school that's important. So it's not necessarily going to be weather topics every time, and there's not a set schedule, at least not for now. But I'll certainly post on Facebook well in advance to let you know when it's coming. And, of course, after we get through with our live events, within about 15 minutes, you can go back and watch them on Facebook, too. So it's pretty much Weather Chat Live on demand. How about that? Poor Becky. Missed out on that 10 grand. One other thing too, folks, I know you hear me say this just about every time we do a primetime forecast. On our primetime forecast at the top, there's a link there that takes you over to our YouTube. Sorry, got distracted. Over to our YouTube channel. And it's important that you click on that link and go to our Dr. Don Weather page on YouTube and click subscribe. And right beside it, you're going to see a little bell. Make sure you click that bell as well. Because what happens then is when we go live, we broadcast on a platform that sends our signal to multiple different social media platforms. We go to Facebook, we'll go to all of our Facebook channels, and we've got 4. We also go to YouTube, we go to Periscope, and we go over to drdonwx.com. So when we go live, it sends a push notification to YouTube, and YouTube will turn around and send that to you if you have subscribed to our channel and clicked on the notification bell. And the reason that's important is Facebook uses a different type of algorithm for you to see things in your news feed. So it's not a timely thing. You don't get a push notification from Facebook. Yes, we use Facebook as our primary platform, but their notification process really doesn't suit what we do because most of the information we put out there is time sensitive. So that's why it's very important to go over to our YouTube channel, click on subscribe and that little notification bell so that when we do go live, you're guaranteed to get that push notification from YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube or Facebook or our website. It doesn't matter where you watch from. But you need to get that notification from YouTube. That's a 100% guarantee. Well, I mean, unless there's a technical problem somewhere. It's suited much more better for breaking news and severe weather, life-saving information. Thank you, Becky Farr. Appreciate you. Before we get out of here, well, let me do one thing. Let me say, hey, that's pretty cool too. We can see all the comments here as they scroll, which is cool. So as we get into future episodes of Weather Chat Live, we'll have video. We'll be doing our interviews on Zoom. So you'll be able to see whoever it is that we're talking to and the interviews that are taking place. So much for my mug. Let's go over here and let me show you the East Alabama forecast one more time before we get out of here. We're going to take it to the top of the hour and then we're gone. For tomorrow, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. We've got one model that's trying to throw some thunderstorms into East Alabama around midnight tonight, maybe up until around 2 a.m. Yeah, maybe. I'm not really convinced that's going to happen. But if you hear a rumble of thunder later on tonight or early Sunday morning, don't be shocked. And then in the afternoon, just a 30% chance of a shower. 89 is going to be your high, so it's going to be another warm day. Just a 20% chance of rain Sunday night. Then on Monday, we go back to a very typical pattern. We've had a couple of cold fronts come at us this summer, which is unusual. You normally don't see that in June and July. We've had 2 or 3. But we go back to a more normal pattern by Monday, where we're looking at just a 20% chance. You know, in the summertime, you have forecast A and forecast B. Well, you're looking at forecast A right here. A 20% chance of showers in the afternoon with temperatures in the upper 80s, maybe creeping up into the low 90s toward the end of this period. And then as we look out at the extended, yikes, we get a little warmer. Mid 90s perhaps out there, a couple of days in the extended period all the way through the 13th of August. Yeah, the heat is here. August, September, you know, it's typically October. Most of the time it's mid-October before we start to cool off. So, yeah, we have got a ways to go before things get better. heat-wise, anyway. Well, folks, I have enjoyed it. Again, we're just kind of an experiment going on here. We're going to look at different times. We may do this on a Sunday evening next time to see how that goes. And then, like I said, we've already talked to Roanoke City School Superintendent Chuck Markham. He's going to join us. We're going to talk school stuff, and that'll happen sometime this week. I'll send out a notice, so you'll see that on Facebook when we get ready to do that, so you can come back and watch as well. And pitch me ideas. Send me messages. I love to talk to you guys. Don't think you're bothering me, because you're not. I love to interact with you, and that's another whole reason why I'm doing this, because this gives me an opportunity to just sit back and cut up with you and carry on a conversation with you and answer your questions. I don't want to just sit here and talk to you all the time. I want feedback. I want you to tell me what you want so I can give it to you. Thank you, Kelly. You have a great night too. Appreciate all you folks who've joined us tonight. Again, if you can support us, we greatly would appreciate it. All you have to do is go to the top of this chat, and there's a link up there that'll take you over there. It's very secure. PayPal.me/Dr. Don WX is where you need to go. Hey, you know what to say. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll see you back in here on Sunday. We'll at least have a primetime forecast for you on Sunday, which we covered at the top of this show. We may come back and do another weather chat, depending on what the tropical storm/hurricane does. We'll monitor that. If it looks like it's going to really cause a problem in Florida or Georgia, then we'll do another weather chat live for you on Sunday, right here on Dr. Don's weather page. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your Saturday evening.